Two people commit the same crime. Same age. Same background. Same sentence length. But one wakes up behind steel bars, locked in a concrete cell. The other wakes up in a private room, cooks breakfast, and goes to class. Same crime. Completely different prison life. Because prison is not the same around the world. In some countries, prison is designed to punish. In others, it's designed to change people. And in a few places, it feels nothing like prison at all. Today, we are taking you inside 10 different countries to see what prison life really looks like, from daily routines, to living conditions, to how inmates are treated behind the walls. No myths, no movies, just reality. And by the end of this video, you might completely rethink what justice is supposed to mean. Before we begin, one important thing. This video is not about glorifying prison. And it's not about saying one system is perfect. Every prison system reflects a deeper belief. Is prison meant to punish? Or to prepare people for life after release? Let's start with a country most people think they already understand. In the United States, prison life is defined by control, structure, and routine. Most inmates wake up early, often before sunrise. The day begins with count. Doors slide open. Names are called. Every person is accounted for. Cells are usually shared by 2 inmates. Space is limited. Privacy is almost non-existent. Daily routine. A typical day includes early wake-up, mandatory head count, scheduled meals, assigned work or programs, limited recreation. Everything runs on a strict timetable. Food is basic. Movement is supervised. And every action happens under rules. Mental reality. But the hardest part of prison in the US isn't always physical. It's time. Days feel long. Weeks feel repetitive. Years feel endless. For many inmates, prison becomes a mental test, one that reshapes how they think, react, and interact with others. Philosophy. The US system leans heavily toward punishment and deterrence. Rehabilitation programs exist, but access depends on the state, the facility, funding, sentence length. Some inmates leave prison with skills. Others leave with nothing but deeper scars. And that's why the next country feels almost unbelievable by comparison. In Norway, prison looks different. Very different. Inmates often live in private rooms, not cells. They have windows, natural light. Some even have their own bathrooms. Guards don't carry guns inside prisons. They eat meals with inmates. They talk. They listen. Daily life in Norwegian prisons. Inmates cook their own food, attend school or job training, work regular hours, spend time outdoors every day. Life inside is designed to feel as close to normal life as possible. Philosophy. Norway believes something radical. The punishment is the loss of freedom, nothing more. Everything else focuses on one goal: preventing reoffending. Inmates are treated as people who made mistakes, not as people who are defined by them. Result. And the result? One of the lowest repeat offense rates in the world. But this approach isn't accepted everywhere. In fact, our next country takes the opposite route. Japanese prisons are known for strict discipline. Rules are exact. Schedules are rigid. And silence is common. Inmates wear uniforms. They walk in lines. They move together, at the same pace. Daily life. A typical day includes early wake-up, mandatory work, limited talking, structured meals, repetitive routines. Every action has a correct way to be done. Philosophy. Japan's prison system focuses on personal responsibility. The idea is simple. Discipline creates order. Order creates self-control. Self-control prevents future crime. For some inmates, this structure brings clarity and purpose. For others, the emotional isolation is overwhelming. And that emotional contrast becomes even stronger in our next stop. Brazilian prisons operate under intense pressure. Resources are stretched thin, and daily life can vary drastically from one prison to another. In some places, inmates manage large parts of daily life themselves. Daily reality cells may hold far more people than intended. Informal leadership structures exist. Access to programs depends on location. Despite the challenges, some prisons still offer education, work programs, religious activities. Philosophy. Brazil's system struggles between control and survival. Guards focus on maintaining order. Rehabilitation exists, but consistency is difficult. It raises an uncomfortable question. When prisons are overwhelmed, can rehabilitation truly work? To answer that, we move to a country known for balance. Germany's prison system focuses heavily on reintegration. Most inmates will eventually return to society, and the system is built around that fact. Daily life German inmates often have private or semi-private rooms, paid work assignments, access to education counseling, and therapy. Life inside is structured, but not dehumanizing. Philosophy Germany operates on one belief: prison should prepare you for freedom, not break you. Punishment exists, but rehabilitation is the priority. And now, we've reached the halfway point. But what comes next may surprise you even more. In the Netherlands, something strange happened. Crime dropped, reoffending dropped, and prisons started closing. Yes, closing. Some Dutch prisons became so empty that they were rented out to other countries. Daily life Dutch prisons focus on individual responsibility, education and job training. Mental health support. Inmates often live in single occupancy cells. They cook, they work, they plan for life after release. Philosophy. The Netherlands believes that if prison creates better people, society becomes safer. The goal isn't fear, it's prevention. And while this approach sounds ideal, not every country agrees. So now, we move to a place where freedom exists, but only in a very specific way. Finland is known for its open prisons. And yes, inmates can walk freely within designated areas. No fences topped with razor wire. No constant lockdowns. Daily life in open prisons. Inmates wear normal clothes, work jobs during the day, return to their rooms at night, prepare meals themselves. Some inmates even leave the prison daily for work or school. Philosophy. Finland believes trust builds responsibility. The idea is simple. If inmates learn to live responsibly inside prison, they're more likely to live responsibly outside prison. But this level of trust would be unthinkable in many countries, especially the next one. Russian prisons operate on strict hierarchy and routine. Facilities are often large. Rules are rigid. And daily life is shaped by long-standing traditions. Daily life in many Russian prisons. Inmates live in shared dormitory-style rooms. Daily schedules are tightly controlled. Work is mandatory. Personal space is limited. Discipline is enforced through routine, not flexibility. Philosophy. Russia's system emphasizes order and endurance. The belief is that structure and labor teach discipline, even if comfort is sacrificed. And compared to open prisons, this feels like a different world entirely. But nothing prepares you for our next stop. Swiss prisons are often described as shockingly humane. Some facilities resemble college dorms more than traditional prisons. Daily life in Swiss prisons. Inmates have private rooms, access to education and therapy, work opportunities with fair pay. Emphasis on mental health. Daily life is calm, predictable, quiet. Philosophy. Switzerland believes dignity reduces future crime. By treating inmates as human beings, the system aims to prevent resentment, anger, and alienation. But critics often ask, is prison supposed to feel like this? And that question becomes even louder in our final country. India's prison system is vast and diverse. Facilities range from modern institutions to centuries-old prisons still in use today. Daily life in many Indian prisons. Inmates live in shared barracks. Daily routines include work, prayer, and education. Overcrowding remains a major challenge, but there's also something unique. Many prisons focus heavily on spiritual programs, meditation, and yoga skill development. Philosophy. India's system blends punishment, reform, and spirituality. The belief is that internal change, not just discipline, leads to rehabilitation. For some inmates, these programs offer peace. For others, survival remains the daily focus. And now, we've reached the end of our journey. 10 countries, 10 different prison systems. Some focus on punishment, some on discipline, some on trust, some on rehabilitation. And none of them are perfect. But one truth is clear. Prison is not just about walls and bars. It's about beliefs. Beliefs about human nature, responsibility, redemption, and whether people can truly change. And that brings us to the final question. 10 countries, 10 prison systems, 10 completely different ideas of justice. Some believe fear prevents crime. Others believe understanding does. Some focus on punishment. Others focus on change. But here's the truth we can't ignore. Almost everyone in prison will one day return to society. They will become neighbors, co-workers, parents, strangers you pass on the street. And the question isn't whether they will come back. The real question is, who do we want them to be when they do? Because prison doesn't just remove people from society. It reshapes them. It teaches lessons, intentionally or not, about trust, about dignity, about responsibility. Some systems break people down. Others try to build them back up. And the results speak for themselves. Lower reoffending rates, safer communities, lives redirected instead of repeated. This isn't about being soft or tough on crime. It's about being smart about it. Because justice isn't just about punishment. It's about what happens after the sentence ends. So the next time you hear the word prison, ask yourself, is it a place meant to punish people forever? Or a place meant to send people back into the world, changed? If this documentary made you think, if it challenged what you believed, or if it showed you a side of prison life you'd never seen before, subscribe. Because there are stories the world rarely looks at, and truths that only make sense when we look deeper.